Why did I write Grandpa on a Skateboard? It's a question I get asked a lot. But I have to be honest with you, it wasn't the first question I was expecting to be on my YouTube channel. I thought you guys would want to know something about, I don't know, frontal lobe paradox, or how we assess for property and financial affairs, or even what do we do about fluctuating capacity. But I've got a request to talk about why I wrote Grandpa on the Skateboard. So, I suppose I'm honest with you, there are two reasons why I wrote Grandpa on a Skateboard. The first was because at the time I was enrolled in a business school, and part of the course they were saying to you, look, you should write your own book, you're an expert, you'll become an expert, it's the fast track way to do it. But to be honest, if that had been the sole reason that I did it, it would never have got published. Because actually writing a book is a lot of work. So I'm self-published, so I went to a company called Rethink, and there are lots of companies out there. Rethink's the one I know. I'll put a link to them down below. But it cost me, £3,500 of my own money. And it wasn't just money that it cost, it was time. So I wrote it at a time when I had a young family. My eldest, I think, was about 5 years old. So my youngest was about 2 years old. It meant that every day I was getting up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning to find that hour time or so in order to write the book. There was research involved. And so it wasn't about, I've got to write this because it's going to look good for my profile. There was actually a much greater reason than that. And that was the reason was, as I was looking around at the books that were out there at the time, there was nothing that really bridged the gap between the theory and the practice. And in my role, I was often seeing examples of poor practice. I often had lots of people saying to me, Tim, how do we do this? I don't understand the mental capacity. How do we put it in practice? Now, I had years and years of experience of working with the Mental Capacity Act. I've been working with young adults with eating disorders and severe self-harm. And so I had kind of understood it, disentangled it, and was able to teach it in a way that made sense to people, using real life case studies, real clinical studies, and really helping people apply it to their own areas of practice. So for me, Grandpa on a Skateboard was about, how do I take this knowledge and how do I put it down in a way that is going to be accessible to individuals? Now, when I published the book, I was full of anxiety about how's this going to be received. Are people going to criticise me overly? It's quite a relatively thin book, but it's written in very easy speak. So it's written in a way that I speak, but in a way that I hoped would resonate with those reading it, that they'd be able to engage with it. And one of my fears was that people would read it, the professionals, the solicitors and that, and go, what does he know? But I was really surprised that actually it was so successful. It got to number one on Amazon in the UK and the US. And I found that even though I targeted it at healthcare professionals, actually it's being read by solicitors, by barristers, by judges. And the feedback that I was getting was, this is brilliant. This is teaching us stuff that we didn't know. So it was teaching the legal professionals stuff that they didn't know around kind of the medical side of stuff, around the practicalities. And it was teaching the healthcare and the financial advisors and those sorts of professionals legal aspects that they didn't realise, as well as things around assessment and actually just unpicking the Mental Capacity Act as a whole. So there are many benefits to writing a book. One of them is the research. Even though you think you know it, you've got to research it more and more to make sure you're absolutely bang on the money. It makes you overcome that fear of criticism, and it makes you face your imposter syndrome. Even though for me, I still get imposter syndrome, right? So I've presented on international forums. I presented at the International Congress of Adult Capacity. I've spoken in front of thousands of people. I still get imposter syndrome. Actually, lots of people I speak to still get imposter syndrome. But it does help you address that and kind of start to get to grips with that. And of course, writing a book helps others. Writing imparts your knowledge, and if you write it well and in the right way, in a way that other people can engage with, they can take that knowledge. So people can take my 30 years of experience, I've distilled it down to this book, and they can hopefully flick through, find the right page, go boom, without having to go through all the trials and stuff that I did in order to get there. Now, if you're interested in writing a book, I'll say absolutely do it, okay, because it is brilliant in so many ways, both for you and for others. As I said, I've included a link below for the guides that I use, the Rethink. So click on that. And actually, while you're down there, if you'd like to subscribe or like, if anybody would like to give me any other ideas as to what you'd like me to talk about, then please do. And as you'll see with this one, I will absolutely talk about it. I have in my head lots of stuff that I want to do, lots of videos I want to make. So please do check out the next one, which I think is probably going to appear there if I can get the editing software to do what I want it to do. So I hope this has been useful. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do check out my next video, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.